Um, what stops India from winning this game?
Surya Kumar Yadav.
They
I don't think you can
basically.
play Varun in the final, man. He's very
That's
dangerous.
what I'm
I
saying. That's what I'm saying. You
I
have
don't
to
think
play
they
Kuldeep.
changed it. I
They
don't think
won't
they
change,
changed
but
it.
Yeah.
अब एक लीश हमने दी है 70 T20 खेलनी है एक लड़के
No,
को.
no, no, I
अब
agree with.
फाइनली उसकी लीश काट दी है.
But you cut him in the wrong format.
I don't care.
Welcome to Over and Out with me, the usual gang, Izzy Khwaja and Mustafa Siddiqui. So we have a final. Let's go over the semifinal and let's preview the finals. Let's start with India-England in the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. What a fantastic game of cricket. 499 runs, I think 40 something sixes, an amazing game. India obviously put into bat. England won the toss, and then they put up a record score in a World Cup semifinal, 253 for seven. We probably thought it was too much, but England, they hung around, they made it late, and in the end, only 7 runs short at 246. Um, when I watched India and England, that should have been a final.
Hmm.
As a semi, it
Hmm.
was a bit of a disservice. But when I watch them and I look at Pakistan, they're playing a different game. This is true modern cricket versus whatever it is that we're playing. Take us through that game. Start start AZ Khwaja.
Absolutely insane game of cricket, like you mentioned, almost 500 runs in there. And to be honest, England 45 of 18, you should get that done, man. You should get that done, especially with a well set Bethel, who played the innings of
Yeah.
his life. Absolutely phenomenal. He started off with like four sixes out of his 25 runs, was absolutely on song. Terrible captaincy from Surya Kumar Yadav, it has to be said. Some of his moves that he made in the middle overs were absolutely mind boggling to say the least. Varun Chakravarti के साथ आपका कौन सा ऐसा रिश्ता है कि उसको ओवर देने ही देने हैं? Why did you not use Shivam Dube earlier? Why did you not gamble on using Hardik Pandya or Jasprit Bumrah earlier when the game was still way away from England? And of course, that dropped catch of Sanju Samson was very costly indeed. But even then, full credit to England. They made a fist of it. 45 of 18. How have we left it to 30 of 6? Those two overs, and only one of them was for Bumrah. You just couldn't capitalize. You couldn't make it maybe even 18 of 6. That would have been doable. Maybe 20 of 6, but 30 of 6, you always back the bowling side to get it done. And India got away with one for sure. They should have lost this game.
So I personally think like it is an amazing game. I wouldn't call it a great cricketing game, right? Because I just feel it's too much. It was too much bat versus bat dependent. And in my opinion, a cricket game should be bat versus ball. There should be an equal balance of that. And I just would like to mention the pitches since India lost to South Africa, which also Alistair Cook has mentioned. The pitches have become much more batting friendly after India lost to South Africa. The Indian pitches have been regularly 210, 220 plus score games.
Izzy mentioned the 45 of 18. Of course, we remember in Melbourne in 2022, India got 48 of 18, not to rub salt on the wounds. Um, quickly, the Indian batting. Sanju Samson, Ishan Kishan, um,
Hardik
Hardik
Pandya.
Pandya, and Tilak Verma. Four batters.
Shivam Dube, 43 of 24.
But the reason I didn't mention him was those other four batted at over 200, the strike
Mm.
rate. Four batters over 200. Shivam Dube, 43 of 25. And then, of course, Mustafa's boy Sky with his usual flop in versus a big team. But, the one thing I give credit to, there were many points in that game where you felt that England were bringing them back into that
Hmm.
225, 230 range.
Mm.
And yet
That
India kept going and they kept going.
That Jofra Archer over at the
that
end.
Jofra Archer really. That's where they
That lost them the
actually.
match.
That's where they
That
actually
lost.
lost the match.
So let's talk about Archer. He went for 12 and 14, then 15, and then his final over went for 20. Is he, um, was it a case where he's lost some of his skills or was he just not executing?
I think it was just a very good batting wicket, Sadi bhai. There
Hmm.
was nothing in there, no spin, a bit of swing early on for the Indian seamers, but other than that, it was flat as a tack, small boundaries. It's a small stadium as well, very compact, and of course, you have 40,000 baying for your blood. And even then, he had Sanju Samson. He had him. He had him at 15, and that would have been a different game altogether. So England would certainly have regrets. I think it could, because every single bowler, apart from Bumrah, perhaps I didn't read his final figures, but everybody took a pounding. So I think it's a bit harsh on Jofra, but he certainly could have bowled better, especially at the death. I think his radar went haywire when that counter punch came in from Tilak Verma. But certainly overall, I think it's tough to blame. Liam Dawson was only used for 1 over. I think Harry Brook perhaps had a miscalculation. They could have brought him back and perhaps saved an over here or there from some of his frontline bowlers and perhaps saved them from the onslaught.
Bumrah 4 overs for 33, but the most important was that his 16th and his 18th overs only went for 6 and 8. And
How
then
can
the,
you only score 15 runs in 12 balls, man?
and then
Come
and
on.
then the key thing is Hardik Pandya in his last over only gave up
Yeah.
9 runs. That's where they
Exactly.
lost the game. Is that if they'd taken a couple more of Bumrah of the 18th, a couple more of Hardik of the 19th, then you go into that last over with a little bit more belief. When you're asking for 30 of six, you're basically at that point there's no
If it
belief.
was
You're just
18 of
hoping.
6, they would have won it. Hands down, they would
Correct.
have won it.
Yeah,
If it was
80,
18, even 20 of six, they would have done it.
25
Yeah.
25 भी होता सही होता. It's the problem
25
was
भी बहुत ज्यादा होते हैं, 4 छक्के चाहिए
नहीं
भाई
charge.
यार.
हाँ मगर four sixes is very in 6 balls is more is much better than asking for 5 6s in 6 balls. That's like much
Obviously, it was
that
impossible. Yeah.
like it's extremely impossible. But like I would like to mention the economy rates of all the bowlers: 15, 10, 12, 13, 10, 12, 9.5, 16, 11.66, and 22. Bumrah Salah 8.25.
Yeah, but that's modern day T20. He can
That's a given with him
nail,
now.
he's able to nail his Yorkers with such regularity. He's almost like a metronome in that sense, over and over and over again. We talked in this World Cup throughout how India's batting hadn't clicked. They clearly clicked
Mm.
yesterday, didn't they? It was a
I
I mean, it was a very good batting display from the first over. When you put into bat and against England, you need to score runs, and they needed every single run.
Yeah, I also think so. I don't particularly think anyone bowled terribly in that game. Like horrendously. I think it was just a very good batting wicket. The only one person who I can say is genuinely bowled terribly was Varun Chakravarti. Like he was legitimate.
Then he got Joss Butler right on the edge of the power play. That changed the game.
That changed the game, but he also he was letting England constantly back into it whenever he was when he was coming into bowl. He went at 16 and over.
Should
But you have
England
to
have
see some of the
sh
shots, the switch hits, the reverses were
No, no,
amazing.
no.
should
I
it,
don't.
should England have dropped Josh Butler? I mean, he was really playing well before he got
They
out.
No,
had
no.
Ben Duckett. I mean, you
No, he
have to
was
back
playing.
Joss Butler.
He was playing well. He just missed a straight one. That's literally what happened. Otherwise, he was 25 of 16. Like he was going
नहीं,
fine.
नुकसान उनको फिल सॉल्ट का बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है,
Huh.
him falling early.
Yeah, we always talk about the three wickets in the power play. When you lose those wickets early, it definitely it really affects your ability. But Jacob Bethel played a fantastic
Oh,
inning.
what a
Oh,
beast.
He's now scored a century in Test, a century in ODI, and a century in T20 World Cup without ever having hit a century in domestic cricket. What does that tell us?
backing talent,
He's a freak, man. He's very good.
talent ID. That's all it is.
Is it that simple?
It's
That
as
सब
regardless of
talented कोई हो तो आईडी करना कितना मुश्किल है यार.
हाँ
वो
ये भी
कौन सा
सही बात है.
कोई
ये भी तो
ना?
Brevis
no,
और
but in
मतलब if he's
fairness,
like an alien like Vaibhav Suryavanshi or something like that, you know,
no,
like
but
Ali Raza, you don't need talent. You don't need to judge him. You know, this kid has it, man. He bowls 150 at age 15. इसमें क्या सोचने वाली बात है?
हाँ I mean
It's just about preparing them for that step up to the next
but
yeah.
it's
level.
also allowing them for failure, right?
Of
I
course,
mean,
failure is, of course, the key with how
Jacob
to deal.
Bethel, when you look at his Ashes series, he had a lot of middling scores in the Ashes. And then, yes,
Mm.
he had that one century, but you kept backing him and backing him and backing him.
And on the other end of the scale, you have Zach Crawley, who just can't figure it out, even
He
though he's
can't,
played 50 test
but
matches.
they've kept backing him as well.
But he also like Zach Crawley does have something. Like he does have something about him which moves
Yeah, a
me.
lot of underscores under 10.
He also has a 267 against us.
Actually, he'd be
AZ,
a damn good one-day player. He should be in the World Cup fold for
He,
them for sure.
yeah,
He is
AZ,
probably.
AZ as a selector would have a very short leash.
yeah, yeah.
अब एक लीश हमने दी है 70 T20 खेलनी है एक लड़के
No,
को.
no, no, I
अब
agree with,
फाइनली उसकी लीश काट दी है.
but you cut him in the wrong format.
I don't care. There should be
Why?
consequences.
Why should format mixing has messed you up for the last 4 World Cups?
ये सब
Like
बातें हैं यार, फॉर्मेट फिक्सिंग, ये सब बातें हैं. If you
format
can
mix.
play in one, you can play in another,
No,
man.
you cannot. That is such a very traditional view of cricket, man. But all formats are incredibly different and very different. Like you dropped
Yeah.
Babar from your ODI squad, man. That's
वो तो
actually
I
चलो, उसको तो इसको तो
I think
हेल्थ, मेंटल हेल्थ ब्रेक
you're
दिया. Fair enough, he
yeah,
deserves
I
it.
think you're looking too deep at this ODI squad. I think this is a throwaway squad just for the sake of it. I wouldn't I would venture to say I bet you there's less than 4 players from this team who make it to your next World Cup squad.
yeah, yeah.
Your next World Cup 11, I should say, in
Saibzada
2027
Farhan could make it. Who else could make it?
from
Shaheen,
this squad.
What do you mean
Shaheen,
make it? He's the captain.
Less
Yeah.
yeah.
four or less is what I would say from
No,
this
who's
squad.
who's
I'm
there?
I'm disappointed they didn't take Abdullah Shafi. That's wrong.
Yeah,
But like as I said, it's a throwaway squad. Anyway, back to this
Yeah.
game. India, no doubt, played fantastic, but I think part of me, if you're an England cricket fan, feels that this was a lost opportunity.
Of
This World Cup
course, of
of
and
course,
course.
of course, of
this
course.
match. There were several periods in this match where you thought England had a chance if they just got that one extra hit, that one extra boundary. And to give credit to India, they fielded magnificently.
Oxer Patel,
Mm.
Oxer
He
Patel,
probably deserved player of the match on his
yeah,
fielding and his
honestly,
wicket.
yeah, I would have given him player of the match. That one catch that got Jacks, that legitimately won them the game. That like
That
completely
changed the
switched.
game.
That changed the entire game. Otherwise, England and with Bethel and Jacks both set there, you would have probably backed them to like 80 off 50, 80 off in five
It was
overs.
63 of 24, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
63 of 24 is like it's nothing in modern day cricket, especially on that wicket.
No, they certainly had their chances. It's interesting when you look at the win percentages, they were underplaying how close England was to actually winning this,
Yeah.
which I didn't understand because you just needed if they had that that last over that Shivam Dube bowled, if he'd bowled that in the 17th or the 18th,
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
but that's
think the
also
calculation would have changed dramatically because now it's very different.
yeah, but I also think this is where I'm going to give praise to Sky. I think it was actually legitimately good captaincy to
It
bring
was correct.
Bumrah
No, it
for
was
bring
that
Bumrah.
consolidation period when he let the game run
Huh.
away from him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like bringing Bumrah in the it was the 15th and the 17th over, like
16th and 18th.
sorry 16th and
And
18th
honestly,
over,
I
that
think Varun has become
completely
unplayable
flipped
in
the
the
It
game.
did. They
I don't think you can
basically.
play Varun in the final, man. He's very dangerous.
That's what I'm
I,
saying. That's what I'm saying. You
I
have
don't
to
think
play
they
Kuldeep.
changed it. I
They
don't think
won't
they
change,
changed
but
it.
if they're being like glaringly honest with each other, Kuldeep should play the final, man.
He
Kuldeep,
should,
I've
but
been saying that like Varun is a player who I've talked about this for like the last couple of previews. When he gets hit for one game, he just gets hit for the next couple. It takes a long time for his confidence to come back. Like he is going,
Plus, he's not a big turner of the ball in the first place, so that's the
yeah,
problem.
yeah, and
l-
I just think like a true in the on this like with the minnow teams and like with the lesser teams, you would call them like the lower teams, right? You can get away with mystery spin, but in like with the proper teams, you need actual people who turn the ball. There's deception in the flight. There is actually there's a bit more classical nature about them. You know what I mean?
let me ask you guys a
Mm.
question. Um, this whole thing, build a mountain as big as it can be for the final over. And Pakistan tried this in 2022, right? They at the end of the day, they gave the last over to Nawaz in 2022. Did England miss a trick by only going 6 and 8 of Bumrah and 9 of Pandya
Yes.
when they were clearly interested in just protecting the wicket at that point and not scoring? I think
Yeah.
they felt that they could get more of Pandya in the 19th and reduce the number needed in the 20th, and they were just in wicket saving mode.
Yeah, but then you're also like we've talked about this with Pakistan, right? You're deferring risks. You're like
Correct.
you're
They
deferring
were
risk.
basically deferring risk.
Like yes, okay. Bumrah's first over, I can
Yes, I
understand.
understand. The 16th, I think the 18th, they should have gone
Yes,
much
that's what.
harder at him.
16th, I
That was
understand.
absurd. Absurd.
16th, I think I understand it. But 18th, man, like you have 18 balls left in the
Because they
game.
can still hit. Archer can hit. England's batting can go
Yeah,
deep.
Rashid has comes at 11 and he has 11 first class entrants. Like it's not like he can't hold the bat.
Let's come to the other
Overton is
game.
useless.
Overton,
He is, but he wouldn't have come in at that point. They had enough
who
there.
would like who? If, I don't understand why they play Overton, man. Like he's genuinely such a nothing bowler. Like
Even,
If
but
Chris Wokes was still there, they would have won.
even Sam Curran
yeah,
got hit yesterday, though.
yeah,
You know, went for
I was
53.
no,
Hey.
but we said like it was a good bowling, it was a good batting wicket. I don't blame any bowler for going for runs except for Varun. Varun's the only one I truly think bowled horribly, right? And maybe you could say like Dawson came in for 1 over and gave up 19, sure, but that's like left arm spin against like some of the best left arm spinners in the left arm batsmen in the world,
Hitters of the world.
yeah,
Yeah.
hitters of the world. Like everyone else is like it was just a flat track because India
It
got
was,
fully.
but I think Archer could have bowled smarter in that last
Yes, yeah,
over.
yeah. But I
He
also
lost his head. He
yeah
lost
He,
his head.
he
He
lost
lost.
his cool a little bit. Yes, I know
yeah
he took a wicket with that Yorker, but he
yeah.
should have done, back of a length, harder lengths, pace off, back of the hand, that sort of stuff. Let's come to the other game.
So one
Much more
question though.
antic. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think Bumrah is the most accurate Yorker bowler of all time? Like it's very
No.
hard. It's like
Why is it? What's with the hyperbole surrounding
with the
that guy?
hyperbole, but like I'm just saying, like I've seen this man
Uh,
consistently hit his
He is
Yorker.
a very special bowler. He
Yeah.
is one
No,
of
no,
a kind
I've
for India, but we've seen these
we've
guys in the
seen
past.
this.
no, no,
Wakar, Curtly
I have Wasim
Ambrose,
and Wakar above him. That वो तो
but
बात
even
ही नहीं. I
even
think he's
Curtly Ambrose,
yeah, but I think he has
Yeah,
Gurbankar.
but I
There's
think he
lots
has
of
yeah, but I think you have to
Dale Stein.
yeah, yeah. No, Stain as a
for
Yorker bowler.
them.
Yeah, no, no,
Hey,
obvious.
Umar Gol, you don't remember that 1 over he bowled in 2009
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
when he switched on like
oof.
absurd, man.
No, but I think he like him as like I think he is in the contention for like at least a T20.
He is, but he also is a jewel amongst a bunch of
Oh no, no, I completely agree.
lumps in modern day cricket.
Yeah,
Hmm.
The art of bowling has sort of gone away. Two new balls, white balls,
no reverse.
night cricket, minimal reverse, and so accuracy is much more than but give Bumrah credit. He is the best bowler of his generation.
Yeah, I mean Cummins is there. I would still put Cummins like over there as well. In like him,
No, across
Rabada
all three formats.
across all three formats, it's between Bumrah, Rabada, and Cummins. That's what I would think. Those are your base.
Cummins in T20, no way, man.
Across three formats, मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
Nah, I don't think Pat Cummins has.
T20 तीसरा फॉर्मेट नहीं है.
तीसरा format है मगर I'm saying all format across formats.
No,
KG,
I would still
I
take
think
Jasprit
Ngidi deserves a lot
Bumrah.
of credit, man. The way he's been bowling in white ball these days, he's phenomenal.
All right,
He's bold.
let's
He's
come to.
yeah.
Speaking of Ngidi, let's come to South Africa.
Yeah, let's go there.
Ay, Allah.
So, this wicket was strange, right? So South Africa batted first, 169 for 8. They just never got going. They never got going. It didn't look that they were ever even going to be close to scoring enough runs. Yes, at the end they sort of made it close and made a game of it as far as how many runs New Zealand had. But what was it? Do you think the wicket in the first innings was just sticky and different, or they just crisis of confidence? They just losing wickets at inopportune times. They lost 2 wickets in the second over. They just never got going. That vaunted
Like you
middle
mentioned,
order.
they just never got that batting rhythm together and lost wickets in bunches. I mean, when that middle order got blown away, Rickleton, Miller, and all of that, then it became very difficult, even though Marco Jansen batted out of his skin. Tristan Stubbs did well, but 170 at Eden was never going to be enough. And fair play to the Kiwis, man. They put it together. And I mean, there is no other side in international cricket that maximizes their resources at
Like the
an
New
ICC
Zealand, like
event like the
Kiwis.
Black Caps. Time and again, for since whenever I've been watching them, since maybe 1992 onwards, they
Mm.
always maximize their resources.
Because
Mustafa, Finn Allen, best innings in a knockout in recent memory, 100 of 33.
We just saw Bethel.
you just saw Bethel, and like Bethel
Saw
didn't win the,
Bethel, didn't
but
win,
but yeah, Bethel
if
is
he had one, that
yeah,
potentially, but
yeah,
100 of with the 300 strike rate is just oof,
yeah. That's
To be
insane.
fair, I think Seifert deserves a lot of credit for the way he
Seifert,
tanked to the
yeah,
top.
yeah, yeah.
dead.
You finally
And I
gave
hate to say
Seifert.
that because
You finally gave him
abhor him.
credit.
He's
Uh,
he's player of the tournament nominee, man. It sickens me to my stomach, man.
yeah,
Finn Allen, PSL product.
yeah.
Yeah, QG, shout out.
Seifert as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Karachi Kings, why not? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, but like also, but
And they're going to
like
be playing at Eden for the rest of the IPL season as well, so they lucked out big time.
yeah, yeah. I also just think their bowling still's a little bit light to me. Henry's been bowling out of his mind though. Henry is like I think the bowler of the tournament with Bumrah.
In the power play, Matt Henry has been very good.
Like he's also been decent at the death. He's not been excellent at the
That's
death.
what they were missing now in the first stage of the tournament. Henry was getting clattered. Now that he's found his nip, he's found his pace. Maybe it was that maybe the newborn was playing on his mind. Now he's
Father
mentally
strength,
free.
father strength
Maybe
Henry,
must be.
dad strength Henry, man.
He's got that dad energy now, and he's been dominant, man. क्या bowling करा रहा है वो बंदा.
हाँ हाँ.
All right, so let's come to the final then. In
And
Ahmedabad,
that too looking like freaking Clark Gable or whatever. Somebody from
Yeah,
Saudi
bhai.
Bhai's era.
Do you think they get annoyed by Cook's comment and make a bit more of a gaming?
no,
What
they
did
don't
Cook say?
care.
Huh?
I don't know if that's a real comment
Cook ने क्या
either.
कहा था?
I think
Alistair Cook said that the wickets are too flat, it's too one-sided.
since because he basically or it might have been a fake comment, but like it is not wrong. After the South Africa India game, there has been
Yeah, but
there's been a
this is
great
what
shift
people
in the
want to
wickets.
watch, right?
No, but
People
what were
love-
you expecting in India
Yeah.
in early Jan and Feb? What were you expecting, man? These are
Yeah,
the kind
I
of
was
wickets.
I was expecting the wickets we were getting in the beginning of the tournament, like great cricketing wickets.
Nah, this is what you want fans want to see in the knockouts. 200 plus runs. We said it
तब
in the
भी पहले
preview.
दूसरे मैच में 190 पड़े हैं इंग्लैंड वेस्ट इंडीज के क्या
Yeah.
यही बस यही स्कोर थे.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, to the preview.
So if you India are definitely favorites, and we
Yeah.
said this in our initial World Cup preview. They're the best team. We just kept waiting for that batting lineup to click.
Hmm.
We kept saying that fifth, sixth bowler is soft underbelly. That has showed up throughout. What stops India from winning this game?
Surya Kumar Yadav.
Toss.
Like plainly with his batting and his captains.
But surely India is almost their captaincy bulletproof, right? They have so much depth. How much difference can a captain make?
Enough if the batting lineups are like. I think New Zealand has a very strong batting lineup, and if
I
it's
don't
a
think
flat,
India want to chase in the final. I think they don't want to chase.
they don't want to chase. If they have to be put in the chase, they've been bad chasing this tournament somewhat mostly. They've chased like once, right? I think this tournament in which they had
No,
against
They chased it against West Indies.
Oh,
they
yeah, they
chased
chased
the
it.
West Indies. Yes,
They
they
chased
lost
again.
to South Africa,
Yeah, but
but they chased
Sanju will come back to the mean. You never know.
You might have to like. I would still think chase.
Just the sheer pressure of 100,000 fans, man. It's too much.
Yeah, but then you also
That's
want
a
to
tough
have.
stadium for them. You
That's
know,
a
Bad
it's
memories.
not that is not an easy stadium for them to
Yeah.
play at.
Yeah, but it also is. Though it also so like if there's 100,000 fans and there's so much pressure on the Black Caps already, I think batting first is the way to go because then at least you have some scoreboard pressure on India then.
And yeah,
Yeah, they will want to bat first.
I just don't think New Zealand
Or
have.
maybe with your limited resources, you're hoping that you can restrict India to like 185, then hope Seifert and Finn Allen pull off,
Depends.
a big partnership.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. I don't think they have the batting depth to do that. They're basically reliant on
Because when they played South Africa here, they got absolutely bollocked by
blasted.
Mark.
Correct. Yep.
They got destroyed. So, but Henry wasn't that Henry Now he's looking like a different bowler.
Yeah,
So
Their
Henry.
only hope is wickets in the power play against India, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah. Because they don't like
तब भी
they're.
क्या फर्क पड़ता है? They have
Uh,
8 तक बैटिंग है यार उनके
They
पास.
have, but they have this tendency to get stuck and slow down when
hmm.
Surya Kumar Yadav comes in and stuff like that.
All
The
you need to
problem
Yeah,
is
do
you
is
need to get Sanju and Ishan Kishan early,
just get
probably.
2 wickets
correct.
and let Surya Kumar Yadav be there for 10 overs. तुम सही होगे फिर. That's all you need to do.
It was
It
interesting that Sky said we wanted to bat first. Probably he was lying,
He was
but it was
definitely lying.
interesting
He
he
was
said that.
definitely lying. No one wants to bat first on that good of a wicket.
और तब
you
भी वो
know
हारने वाले थे यार.
Ah,
Absurd.
ah.
They should have lost, to be honest.
They should have lost. They got luck. They
Because
got
England
bailed.
made a lot more mistakes.
253 is an immense score to chase.
Yes, but they also like
But how
England. That
many
was
mistakes did England make?
England
England
made a
made.
lot of mistakes in the field, but in
And
batting,
they still just lost by 6 runs,
they
man.
did.
That's
But some of that batting, Salt getting out, that was scoreboard pressure. Harry Brook getting out.
Yeah.
When you need
Joss
12
it
runs
But
and
just goes to
over,
show how many things had to go right for India to win that game.
correct, absolutely.
Joss
And
Butler
that
also
won't
getting
happen
out.
with the Kiwis.
Joss Butler looking
Kiwis
fine,
won't
looking
make
in
those
form.
mistakes.
He
Josh
was
Butler,
that.
has he not retired yet? Why is he hanging around?
This is another World Cup in 2 years,
Yeah.
T20.
Yeah,
How
but he's
old
like
is
37.
How
He's
old is he
36,
now?
37. He's
Yeah.
washed, man. छोड़ दो. One day तो T20 तो छोड़ दो.
Yeah, हाँ T20 छोड़ दो. One day कर सकता है बहुत आराम से because one day he can still get set.
It's going to be funny because Sky and Butler will be beneficiaries of OP teams winning World Cups. उनकी अपनी पर्सनल कंट्रीब्यूशन बिल्कुल नील थी 2022 में. नॉट नील, इसने सेमीफाइनल में मारे थे, बट टीम इतनी स्ट्रांग थी इंग्लैंड की, दे वन डिस्पाइट हिम. इट
Yeah.
सीम्स लाइक द सेम केस हियर.
Yeah, in 22 they were like I wouldn't say they were going to win, but like
Why do
Shaheen.
we
Bro, come
why
on,
do we
who was going to
forget
stop
that?
them?
I
They
was
had
just
freaking Stokes as well.
yeah, then
We
Stokes as well, but like also like they had things go their way in the final. Shaheen got injured, man. The,
We were never going to
let,
win that
let me
match.
let me
क्या हो
ask you
गया?
a question. Why do we collectively forget 2022 as Pakistan fans? Is it because the Melbourne
Seriously, man.
the is it because the Melbourne game? Is it because we lost in the final? We had to make it because of, the Dutch beating the South Africans? Why does this generation not get credit for reaching a World
Why
Cup
is
final?
that not given as credit to Babar Azam?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm
I
asking
actually
the question. Why? Why does this generation not get credit for the
And
2022 World
Sadi
Cup
bhai,
final?
you follow history, you're a lover of the history of sport. So often the team doesn't win at its peak, it wins randomly down the road
Randomly
mm,
down the
when you don't
line.
expect it. It happens time and again
And
in
that
sport.
22 team was probably the best team if it's of its era, because just
yeah.
before that World Cup, they lost
Even
an
with
A
Shan Masood and Iftikhar in
they
that
they
team.
lost an Asia Cup final when Sri Lanka were 5 down before who was it? Rajapaksa
58 for
came.
5.
Yeah, they were 58 for 5, and they'd beaten India in that Asia Cup as well,
Oh yeah,
if you
I
remember.
remember that game. That game was so much fun. That game
That's
was
what
so
I'm
much
saying. That that's probably the peak in that 2022 team, but they're not
It's
given
been
the
a
credit.
slide since then.
Yeah, I think the reason
Why?
we don't talk about that final for two reasons. One, we should have been in the final just like that. We shouldn't have had to have Netherlands luck our way into
Well,
that.
you lost to Zimbabwe.
You lost to Zimbabwe, which is another thing. You lost to India and then you lost to Zimbabwe. So a lot of people feel that you don't particularly deserve to be in the final if you've lost to both of those.
ये सब
No, 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 I'm just saying.
कहने से क्या होता है?
I
No,
mean,
no,
did
तो
92
92 को भी नहीं जीतना
deserve?
no,
चाहिए
no,
था.
no.
I mean,
I totally agree. I personally think getting to a World Cup final is very hard, and
It's all academic.
I give them full credit. I'm just saying what the public psyche could be, right? I think the public psyche is you lost to India, you lost to Zimbabwe, then then you lucked in because of Netherlands, and then you convincingly beat the Black Caps. That Black Cap, like that was a Shaheen went on finally on song, and that was great. Was a great overall. That might have been the greatest overall performance of that iteration of the team. Like even better than in the India 152 for no loss.
एक तो you always have to go too far, Mustafa. That's
I'm
your
not
problem.
going for too far. I'm just saying it might have been the best performance. I'm saying
I actually think the best performance was the India match that we lost.
I think we played really well. So it's
If
one of
you
the
That was
It was
That
one of the
was a
good.
fantastic game. Haris Rauf basically in that 19th. If one of those balls had gone differently, that would have been an all-time great victory and performance. But that 22-2 team is just sort of forgotten from memory. And the other thing that hurt some was that in 2023, the following year, instead of a T20 World Cup, you had an ODI World Cup, which is not our strength. And of course, and by 24, the team was a shell of itself.
Yeah, and I also think like so the this is apparently the first time for four consecutive ICC events where we haven't qualified for the semifinals, and I
Yep.
think that is kind of an unfair stat on them
Oh,
because
but there is an event every year.
yeah, that's
So
exactly the point.
meaningless number.
That bloody 2000s team much more underachieved much more than this team, but they got away with it because in the mid 2000s there weren't as many cups as they are now. So I feel that's a very unfair stat on them.
I think
So
this
who's winning
generation,
on Sunday?
India, yeah.
India, of course, they're the
India,
better
yeah.
team.
They're the better team.
Come on.
I can't even like.
कुछ
I'm
हो
gonna be.
सकता है यार.
I'll be hate watching them. I'll be hate watching them. But
They're
India,
petrified of the Kiwis. They have PTSD against Kiwis these days.
हाँ
Not these
यार.
days, 5-6 years.
5-6, bro. They were beat. The Kiwis
No, but
haven't been.
I don't think New Zealand have the depth of talent to do it.
तो New
देखते हैं.
Zealand भी हैं final आ जाते हो.
I mean,
Semi-final खेल के
there's a reason they don't win ICC events, right? New Zealand. At the end of the day, they're just
They are
imagine
chokers.
Mitchell
They
Santner
are
lifting the
chokers.
world.
they always find a way to lose. One, Kumar Dharmasena did a good job for them in the in, in that one final they probably
Warner,
should have won as the umpire giving England an extra run, but then
No, but
they
also giving them
lost.
an extra wicket as well because Ross Taylor wasn't out that game.
Yeah, but then they had a chance to win it again in the
Yeah.
in
Yeah, but like
the
that they were
but
really
why
hard
did
done.
Guptill not
I
go for
was
a
I
shot,
was
man? He
there
just belted it.
I was there live that day. New Zealand were the better team. England deserved to win the tournament. I think they played the best cricket throughout the tournament. But that day,
England were almost eliminated.
they were almost eliminated. I'm not denying that. But I'm saying
Sri
out
Lanka
of
beat them, we beat them.
हाँ मुझे याद है. मगर
कहाँ से best team हो गई?
I'm saying between those two teams, I think England played the
हाँ.
better cricket. ठीक है ये मैं बोल रहा हूँ. ठीक है, but I think New Zealand that day were better. Like they were like they was just so that one ball hitting the bat in the run really just changed the game. If that doesn't happen, that's a 1 in a million thing.
But that's the history of New Zealand. You go back to the 92 World Cup semifinal, Martin Crowe,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. They never have luck break for them. They're never destined to win. They're destined to be semifinalists or finalists and not actually win anything.
नहीं, it's Sunday, Easter Sunday. I don't know if it is. What
It's
is
not
this
Easter
Sunday?
Sunday.
It's not
It's just
Easter Sunday.
It's just a random Sunday.
It's just a random Sunday.
Ramzan Sunday.
रमजान संडे से फिर वो कर सकते हैं.
चलो फिर, let's hope
Okay,
for
All
the
right,
best.
boys.
One question, guys.
Go ahead.
What's your team of the tournament so far?
Not one with Saibzada Farhan in it. Let me
No,
tell you,
I
there's
wouldn't agree. Yeah, I agree.
a lot better
Finn
openers and
Allen,
batters.
Tim Seifert, Saibzada Farhan. तीन पे
You would
कौन
put
होगा?
him in your team of the tournament? Come on,
Oh,
Saibzada Farhan.
383 runs, man. How can
Yeah,
you
forget
do
that. But
160
look at the
strike
strike
rate
rate.
तो
दो
like
सौ मारे एक वर्ल्ड कप में.
Yeah, but you look at some of the other players,
the other way.
Bethel and Salt and Ishan
Salt
Kishan,
ने एक
Miller,
Sanju Samson, Aiden Markram,
bowling थोड़ी करेंगे ये लोग. मिलर को डाल लो, no problem.
So
Finn
no,
Allen.
no,
There's
I
a
would.
lot of players who
Yeah,
are
I
who are
would
better.
probably go Phillips, Sanju Samson.
भाई ऑर्डर में बताओ, ये रैंडम बोल रहे हो तुम.
नहीं मैं order में बता रहा हूँ मैं
Let's think about this and we'll do it in our post-final
Yeah.
tournament review.
We need
Okay.
some time to breathe on this one.
Breathe. Yes.
Okay.
All right. You also don't get into the team of tournament if you scored the slowest century as an opener after batting a minimum 60 balls. All right, boys. We'll see you later.